All right, we're in section 3.3, part 2, working through example 3. Prove that if two lines are cut by a transversal, so the alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. So what's given is angle 4 and 5 are congruent. We need to prove that G and H are parallel. So our statements would start out with the given. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 5, and that is given. Okay, the next thing that we know, we have angle 1 here. I always go back and look at the picture and say, all right, well, I've got angle 1 is congruent to angle 4 because of the vertical angle congruence theorem. Cool. All right, so if I have 5 is congruent to 4 and 4 is congruent to 1, that tells me that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5 because of the transitive property. And if 1 is congruent to 5 and 1 is congruent to 4, I can substitute out angle 4 is congruent to angle, oh, I did that backwards, erase. Sorry, we know that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5, so we can actually finish it. G, and I'm still in red, G is parallel to H because of the corresponding angles converse theorem. Cool. Next. Okay, we have one last theorem to cover, and that is our theorem 3.7, the transitive property of parallel lines. It's pretty simple. We know what transitive means. If one thing equals another and that equals something else, then the beginning equals the end. So I can draw a picture that represents that. Oh, let's say this is line P, and this is line Q, and this is line R. Okay, I'm going to use some red. If P is parallel to Q and Q is parallel to R, then we can say that P is parallel to R. Those are all little arrows that are supposed to be filled in. So it's transitive because if P is parallel to Q and Q is parallel to R, then we can say that P is parallel to R. Transitive. If two lines are parallel to the same line, then they are parallel to each other. The flag of the United States has 13 alternating red and white stripes. Each stripe is parallel to the stripe immediately below it. Explain why the top stripe is parallel to the bottom stripe. And that would be the transitive property of parallel lines. Very good reason. You try. If you use the diagram at the right to prove the alternate exterior angle converse, what given and prove statements would you use? Pretty simple. I'm looking at the diagram. It's given that angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. I need to prove that line J is parallel to line K. You try. Each step is parallel to the step immediately above it. The bottom step is parallel to the ground. Explain why the top step is parallel to the ground. Pretty simple one. Okay, daily homework quiz. Push pause. There are your first two. Moving on. Push pause. Last page. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.